Hi, so what is the leadership blind spot of our time? When you think about a blind spot, everybody has blind spots. I suppose I first heard about the term blind spot when I was trying to learn how to drive, in terms of, you do have a blind spot over your shoulder, and sometimes there's little mirrors there. Even now you've got technology in cars to try and help uncover that blind spot. So everybody has a blind spot, and what, in a personal context or even leadership context, what that means is there's certain behaviors that you have that are unconscious, that may not be helping you, that may not be serving you, or just are unseen. You're just not quite sure that they're there or the impact that they make. And in a leadership and business context, I'm always quite fascinated because, society at large, generally, we kind of make rock stars out of business leaders today. They're on talk shows, they're talking on summits and on stages. And very much the focus, even in terms of their biographies, is about what they did and what they do and how they do it. And so the whole world as a result is focused on, well, if I copy what they do, what's the technique, what's the ritual, what's the tactic? If I copy it, well, then I'll replicate their success. And the truth is you won't. You won't really. You might get an improvement, but you're not going to be getting the real success, perhaps, that you're looking for. Why? Because the blind spot is how those people work from the inside out. That's the blind spot. And there's no way there's the same level of focus on how those achievers work from the inside out. Now, that's something that I've been very passionate about for the last 25 years. And just to give you a little taste, people who actually are high achievers in a certain area, they all tend to have certain mental habits, patterns of thinking that actually someone can actually learn. So for example, one of them is around thinking about the end result and seeing the end result as if it's already happening in their mind. And that's kind of one element that drives them forwards, whereas the average person doesn't necessarily have that habit of thinking. They're very often focused on the problem. But another blind spot for a lot of leaders that I work with, I suppose in terms of just making a difference to them, is that very often I can work with somebody who is, we'll say, in other people's eyes, very successful, or maybe has a certain level of achievement in their field. But they come to me and say, look, I'm just not feeling my mojo's in the right level, and I'm just not feeling it the way I used to. I'm concerned I'm going backwards, perhaps. It's a very private kind of reveal. And also, I'm not really enjoying life the way that I thought I would, getting to the level that I'm at now. I'm not enjoying it. I find it very hard to be just in the moment, and it's just not working the way I thought it would. That's also a blind spot, because what you have to realize, there's two elements to your mind. One is about the art of achievement, which a lot of successful people already have, usually formed by unconscious habit. But the other bit, which they're really looking for, this is the magic bit, is the art of fulfillment or enjoyment. And that's another part of their mind that's very often a blind spot for them. And if I'm honest, probably for most people, because most people, we're conditioned not necessarily to look in this direction, but this is a key part of the inner revolution that's coming, is to understand that we do work from the inside out, and there are certain variables that help that. There's plenty of information on my website, and perhaps working with me, that I can share further with you on some of the courses and programs, so check them out. But if nothing else, start looking more in this direction. Try and get behind the blind spot and start looking at how you work from the inside out, because there's so much there for you to discover. Food for thought.